What's up, guys? It's Scion. I'm back, and this time around for award season, we're going to be doing top 5 PvP MMOs for 2016. Now, I wanted to do this a little bit different than the other ones because the PvP MMO genre, or the area, is really hard to talk about, and people always fight and argue over it and always have their favorite stuff. So I want to address a few things first. First of all, we're going to throw out the old, because this is 2016 and we're not talking about the old things. So Lineage 2, Darkfall, Guild Wars 1, they are not going to be on this list because they are old MMOs and practically done MMOs, so they're not going to be there. And we're going to get their honorable mentions out the way because there's going to be some MMOs that are just not going to be on this list, and what they are pretty much is going to be Rift, which is extremely good overall, and in its essence it's a kind of a clone of World of Warcraft at any rate. But even with that said, it's still its own game, so you got to give it that. Ion, which Ion is really aged right now, and it hasn't aged well. It's been a solid game, but it's declining steadily over the years, so you got to give it that. And we're going to talk next about Skyforge. Skyforge is one of those games that it was better when it first came out, in my opinion. Now it's more for the casual crowd, and PvP wise is actually even better than it was in the beginning, but still the overall skill system, it was more for advanced players, and it's like they just decided that everybody can't be smart and we're going to dumb it down for everybody, so that kind of turned me off altogether with Skyforge. WildStar is a pretty solid game overall, but the problem with WildStar is it had too many skill change things and too many flops back and forth. It's going to be pay to play. Is it going to be free to play? We're going to go freemium. Can we stop the bots, which they just have not done so far? They have not stopped the bots at all, and it's sad, but that is what it is when it comes to that. And then we have the top 5, which I'm actually going to go into. There's actually going to be there's going to be 6 in the top 5 because 1 and 2 is kind of tied. So we're going to get right into that right now. Alright guys, number 5, Black Desert. Now Black Desert fell on this list compared to last year for a few reasons. One, it has a lot of balancing issues, and it's actually really fun when it comes to PvP, but the bots kind of make it not that fun. They have done a very good job getting rid of the bots, but they still exist. The open world PvP is still fun, as you can see right here. There's very few places where you can get a one-on-one, but there is dueling now in the game, so we can have fun along with that. If we had a little bit more of instance PvP, this probably would have been higher on the list, but for now it's good at number 5. So number 4, Elder Scrolls Online. Now Elder Scrolls Online is actually excellent when it comes to PvP, but it has the problem of it gets boring, man. Over and over, just zerging to different keeps over and over again, that gets stale. Black Desert had the same problem where it's just you're zerging back and forth. Now the lore and the way that the skill system works in this game makes this a bit ahead of Black Desert right now, because there's no real limit to what you can do in your skills. There's stuff that is going to be, of course, better overall, but there's still no limit, and anytime that you're not limited and you can be good in PvP and have some pretty good minor skirmishes and stuff like that, then it's always going to be good. You always have to think about that. So I definitely like this at number 4. It's probably going to get better as time goes along. This game has done nothing but improve the last year. So number 3, Guild Wars 2. Now Guild Wars 2 has struggled this year. It has struggled mightily. It went backwards with the recent expansion, and it's kind of sad because I like the lore in this game. I like the PvP in this game, but there's something to be said about adding things into a PvP game when this is a PvP/PvE game. They added things that didn't necessarily work out. The Realm v Realm has kind of died out. The normal PvP, the arena matches, has died out, and mainly it's because of the stuff that was added. So recently they decided they were going to bring back some of the maps that people liked and be a little less stringent and have a lot more rewards tied into PvP. You can see that in recent videos, which is very good to get people in there so they can start getting ascended gear and legendary gear, and that hopefully will revitalize it. I'm not too sure. This game is looking kind of down at the down point, so yeah. Number 2, World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, there's nothing that I can say about World of Warcraft bad right now in retrospect. They've done a very good job of coming back with Legion. Legion has made this game fun again. The PvP in this game is fun again. It does suck that you kind of have to like gear yourself every time the expansion comes out, get different tiers and stuff like that. But you can't say anything about the arena, man. The arena this is what made me fight PvP more vigorously in MMO, the arena for World of Warcraft. When it caught on, I basically just said, okay, I'm going to be a PvP MMOer. That's kind of where I started. I was always an MMO player, but PvP MMO Warcraft made me actually get there, and it still deserves its spot at number 2. Now, number 1 is a tie. First up, 1B is Blade and Soul. Blade and Soul, and the reason why it's here is because I like skill-based combat, where it's the point where you have to actually know what you're doing. You can't spam, you can't sit up there and think that you're gonna win just because you got an OP class, which is sometimes it does happen like that, summoners, but you still can like counter them and use your smarts and beat people like that, so they can't button spam all the time and just counter you and just run around and have like a bot run around and do shit and everything. Berserkers, like you can't do stuff like that all the time, but it does happen. But even when it does happen, skill will win at the end of the day. And like just the one-on-one PvP is great. Their battlegrounds is a different story. Their battlegrounds need to nerf the hell out of that and make it so that it's a little bit more normalized. Skyforge is a good job of that. So Blade and Soul just needs to bite it and just say, hey, we can't balance that, and normalize everybody, and the battlegrounds will be awesome too. So with that said, we're gonna go to number 1, which is it's still number 1 at this point, even though people argued last time. Tera PvP is good because it's skill-based PvP, and it's just awesome all the way around. People complain and they say, oh, like last year when I did, it's like, oh my god, how is Tera number 1? It has these it balances everything else. Every game has imbalances. The last 4 games I just told you have imbalances. But the point is that at the end of the day, even with those imbalances, you can't sit there and think that something is going to home in and you're going to win. It doesn't work like that. You need to actually show some type of skill. You need to actually run around and target somebody and be targeted on somebody and know how to use the proper skill when targeting people. You need to know how to win the stun. You need to know when to go in, because just because you go in and do some damage doesn't mean it's the proper time to go in. Somebody might have a cooldown and they bust everybody's ass around you. Now with the classes that we have now, there's a whole lot of more combustible classes like the ninja and the brawler, where it is not safe out there anymore to go running in there because they will ass kick you. Then you have the gunner on top of that, who's there's just so much rock paper scissors going on with Tera that I have to give it the number 1 for the 2nd year in a row. Nobody has done anything besides Blade and Soul to push themselves further up. Warcraft got better. It got better, and it returned to its youth. Well, I guess you could say youth. It returned to its roots and got better. I give them all the respect in the world. I give every game that I have mentioned, including the older ones, all deserve respect. Nobody, in my opinion, really sucks when it comes to PvP. If it sucked, it didn't even get mentioned in this video. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some games that's not here. I know some people are going to tell me like, oh, you didn't put Eve. I don't consider Eve technically really an MMO like this. I consider like that's a space sim, and that should be its own place. That's why you don't see Star Trek Online here. I don't think those belong in the same category. I think they need their own category, because there's actually about probably 5 or 10 space simulator type PvP games that, you got Star Conflict, you got, like I said, Vendetta Online. You have you have the Star Wars. This actual Star Wars game itself has good PvP in it, but the reason why you don't see me mention it is because it's a little bit fractionated right now, and I don't know what that game is doing at this point in time when it comes to what their focus is. Their focus is all over the place. It seems like they just want it to be a single player game. There's not really been anything added on to the PvP, so I left it out. Not necessarily that it's bad, is that I don't know what the hell's going on in that game. If somebody could tell me what BioWare and whoever else is producing the game is supposed to be trying to do as far as PvP in that game, because it's good, but it's not going anywhere. The same thing with the PvE. It seems like everything is based off of the story, and it's like a single player type game with movie. So I wanted people to understand that. That's why I didn't put that on there, because I expect better from a game like that, and it belongs on the list. But until they figure out the identity in that game, I'm not going to put it on the list just because of that simple fact. But no, with that said, again, everything on here is my opinion. I think that all of these games are good, including the Star Wars game, which I just basically omitted. All of it is good. With that said, on the bottom left is going to be more award seasons. On the bottom right is going to be the MMO show. Top right is going to be Lady Legacy. Top left is going to be random video. As usual, if you want to be first in notification squad, hit that bell underneath the subscriber. And remember that even if your PvP game that you like is not #1, that does not mean that it sucks. All PvP, in my opinion, and MMO is fun. It just depends on the person. It's a different flavor, it's a different like, and these happen to be my flavors and my likes. So if you have a way that you like on the bottom, show me. Peace.